Two people, both 55 years old, both with exactly $420,000 saved, same $95,000 salary, same city, same mortgage, same tired feeling on a Sunday night. One of them is fully retired at 60, traveling in the fall when the flights are cheap, waking up without an alarm, answering to no one. The other one is 68 and still logging in every morning, still running the same numbers on the same spreadsheet, trying to figure out when the finish line finally gets close enough to touch. 8 years. That is the gap between them. And they started from the exact same place on the exact same day. Here's what I need you to understand before we go 1 inch further. That gap had nothing to do with income, nothing to do with getting a better return, nothing to do with one of them being smarter or more disciplined or working harder. The gap was created by a 5-year plan that one of them ran and the other one never even knew existed. I know that plan cold. I have watched it work in real life with real numbers on real people who were terrified they had waited too long. And that fear, the one whispering that 55 is too late, that you missed your window, that the only option now is to work until your body gives out, that fear is the single most profitable lie the financial world lets you keep believing. So if you are 55 right now and some quiet part of you has started wondering whether you could actually be done by 60, stay with me, because I'm going to give you the exact plan I would run if I were sitting in your chair today. 5 years, 5 moves, and by the end of this, you are going to understand something that most people your age will never be told, because there's real money in you not knowing it. My name is Arthur, and this is the plan. Before I walk you through the 5 moves, I have to give you the frame, because without the frame, you will watch this whole thing, nod along, agree with the math, and then walk away thinking this is a video about cutting back and sacrificing. It is not. It is the opposite. Here is the frame. Retiring by 60 when you are starting at 55 is not one problem. Most people treat it like one giant impossible mountain, and because it looks impossible, they do nothing. But it is not one problem. It is 3 separate problems, and each one has a clean, boring, completely legal solution. Problem 1, how much money you can move out of your paycheck and into investments over the next 5 years. That is the shovel. Problem 2, where that money sits and how you get your hands on it before the normal rules say you are allowed to. Because here's what nobody tells you. Most of your retirement money is locked in accounts that punish you for touching them before 59 and a half. And the standard retirement age assumptions are built around 65. You are trying to walk out at 60. That is a gap you have to build a bridge across, and almost no one builds it on purpose. Problem 3, health insurance. In this country, if you stop working before 65, you fall off the employer coverage cliff, and you have to buy your own until Medicare picks you up. And how you handle that one decision can swing your costs by more than $10,000 a year. Most people have no idea it is even a lever. That is the entire game. Shovel, bridge, coverage. 3 problems, 5 years. And notice what that reframe does. The mountain that looked impossible just became 3 ordinary problems, each with a known answer. Impossible is what a thing feels like when you have never broken it into pieces. The reason the second person is still working at 68 is not that the mountain was too tall. It is that he never once cut it into pieces small enough to actually climb. He only ever thought about problem 1, and he walked straight off the cliff of problems 2 and 3 without a plan. Now let me show you exactly what I would do with each one, and I'm going to use 2 people to do it because the math only lands when you can see it happen to a person. Call the first one Ray. Ray is the guy who ends up 68 and still working. And I want to be fair to Ray, because Ray is not lazy and Ray is not stupid. Ray did what almost everyone does. He kept contributing what he had always contributed. He kept his money where it had always been, and he assumed that at some point the finish line would just appear. It never did. Because a finish line is something you build. It does not appear. The second person is you running the plan. So let us run it. Move 1, the 5-year shovel. Here is the part almost nobody your age is told clearly. The government gives people over 50 a set of oversized doors to shove money through. And after 50, those doors get bigger every few years, and most people never walk through them. This year, a person under 50 can put $23,500 into a 401k, but you are 55. So you also get what is called a catch-up contribution, an extra $7,500, which takes you to $31,000 a year. And here is the piece that makes 55 a genuinely powerful age to start this. The piece I almost never hear anyone mention. Under the newer rules, in the specific window when you are 60, 61, 62, and 63, that catch-up gets supercharged to $11,250. So the exact years you are sprinting toward the door gets wider. That is not an accident. That is a gift sitting in the tax code that Ray will never open. Now stack the other accounts on top. An IRA lets you put in $7,000 plus a $1,000 catch-up because you're over 50, so $8,000. And then there's the account that the wealthy quietly treat as the best retirement account in the entire system, and most regular people treat as a glorified way to pay for a doctor visit, the health savings account. If you have the right kind of health plan, you can put in the family limit plus a $1,000 catch-up at 55, and that money goes in untaxed, grows untaxed, and comes out untaxed for medical costs, which, spoiler, you are guaranteed to have in retirement. Nobody escapes medical costs, so an account that pays for the one bill you cannot avoid, with money the government never taxes, is not a medical account. It is the cleanest investment account in America wearing a disguise. Add it up, and the picture is almost absurd. Between the 401k with the catch-up, the IRA with its catch-up, and the health savings account, a 55-year-old is allowed to move well over $40,000 a year into tax-advantaged accounts, and more than that once the supercharged window opens. Ray is moving less than a quarter of that and calling it responsible. Same income. One of them is using the full width of the doors. The other one is squeezing through the same narrow gap he has used out of habit for 20 years. Let me put real numbers on this, because this is where it stops being theory. Ray keeps contributing what feels responsible. He does 10% of his $95,000 salary, which is $9,500 a year, plus a small company match. He feels good about it. 10% is what the posters in the break room told him to do when he was 30. You run the shovel. You are not trying to do this comfortably. You are trying to do it for 5 years. On purpose, like a project with an end date. You max the 401k with the catch-up. You fund the IRA. You fund the health savings account. Are we talking about a serious chunk of income? Yes. This is the part where I am supposed to pretend it is painless. It is not painless. But it is 5 years, not forever. And I am going to show you in a minute why 5 focused years beats 20 comfortable ones. At the end of 5 years, Ray has added his contributions plus growth, and he is sitting around $560,000. Respectable, not free. You, running the shovel, have pushed the limits every single year, caught the supercharged catch-up in your early 60s window, and you are sitting closer to $740,000. Same starting point, same salary, same market, 5 years. The gap is already $180,000, and it opened up not because you earned more, but because you used doors that were standing wide open the entire time. And there's a second, quieter gap opening at the same time, one you will never see on a statement. Fees. Ray's money sits in the funds his plan defaulted him into years ago, quietly charging him around 0.75% a year. Yours sits in a plain, low-cost index fund charging a tiny fraction of that. On a portfolio this size, over these years, that gap alone is worth tens of thousands of dollars that Ray never notices leaving because it is skimmed off before it ever shows up in his balance. It was disclosed on page 11 of a document nobody reads. 0.7% does not sound like a thief. Compounded on real money, it is one of the most expensive sentences in Ray's financial life. But a pile of money is not retirement. A pile of money you cannot touch is just a number that makes you feel better while you keep working. Which brings us to the move that actually separates the people who retire at 60 from the people who just talk about it. Move 2. Build the bridge. This is the one Ray never even considers, and it is the one that matters most, so I need you to really hear this part. Almost all of your retirement money is in accounts with a wall around them. The wall is 59.5. Touch a traditional IRA before then, and on top of the regular tax you get hit with a 10% penalty. So the standard advice, the stuff you have absorbed your whole life without noticing, quietly assumes you will not retire until your 60s are well underway. The entire system is designed around you waiting. You are trying to walk out at 60. Depending on the month, that is anywhere from a few months to a couple of years of expenses you have to cover without triggering that penalty, and without letting a bad year in the market wreck you right when you stop earning. That is the bridge, and there are 3 planks in it. The first plank is a rule almost nobody has heard of, and it is written for exactly your situation. It is often called the rule of 55. If you leave your job in or after the year you turn 55, you are allowed to take money out of that employer's 401k with no penalty. No waiting until 59.5. The catch is, it only applies to the plan at the job you are leaving, which means one of your quiet moves in your final working years is to make sure your money is consolidated in the right place before you walk out the door. Ray, who never heard of this rule, will leave a job at 60, roll his 401k into an IRA the way everyone told him to, and in doing so, accidentally lock his own money behind the 59.5 wall he had already cleared. He will hand back the exact key he was standing on. The second plank is a regular taxable brokerage account, no special tax break, and that is precisely why it is useful. There is no wall around it, no penalty, no age gate, no permission slip. In your shovel years, some of that money goes here on purpose, so that at 60, you have a bucket you can pull from freely while everything else keeps compounding untouched. The third plank is boring, and it is the one that saves the whole plan: cash. 1 to 2 years of living expenses sitting in something safe and dull. Here is why. The single biggest threat to someone who retires at 60 is not running out of money in 30 years. It is a bad market in the first 2. If the market drops 20% the year after you retire and you are forced to sell investments at the bottom to eat, you have locked in that loss forever, and the math never recovers. Financial researchers have a name for this. They call it sequence of returns risk, and it is the quiet thing that turns a good plan into a disaster. The cash plank means when a bad year hits, you spend the boring cash and you leave your investments alone to heal. Ray has no cash plank. Ray has a pile of money and no plan for the order he touches it in. And the order is everything. Let me make the bridge concrete, because a vague bridge falls down. Say your life costs $60,000 a year. From 60 when you walk out to 65 when the marketplace hands you off to Medicare, you want every single one of those years already spoken for. So 1 to 2 years of that 60,000 sits in cash, untouchable by a bad market. Another slice sits in the taxable account, where you can sell calmly and only the gains even count as income. And the rule of 55 stands ready to open your 401k the moment you separate. Penalty-free, because you kept the money in the right place. Now look at what you have actually built. Not a pile of money and a guess, but a specific dollar amount assigned to every single year between quitting and Medicare. That is what retiring at 60 really is. It is not a bigger number. It is a number with a schedule. So the bridge is 3 planks. The rule of 55 to unlock the big account early, a taxable account with no wall around it, and a cash buffer so a bad year cannot force your hand. Build that, and 60 stops being a wish and becomes a date. Now at this point, you might be thinking, this is a lot to fund in 5 years. And you are right, which is why Move 3 is not about saving harder. It is about needing less. Move 3, kill the 2 costs that actually matter. I am not going to insult you and talk about coffee. The idea that regular people are broke because of small daily treats is one of the most convenient stories the financial world ever sold, because it keeps you staring at $5 decisions while the real money walks out the door in 2 places you barely look at: housing and transportation. For most households, those 2 categories eat more than half of everything. And here is why they matter more than any budget app. And it connects directly back to your finish line. The number you actually need to retire is not some mystical figure. It is roughly 25 times your annual spending. That comes from a well-known guideline that says you can pull about 4% of your portfolio a year and be reasonably safe over a long retirement. So every single dollar of annual spending you can permanently remove lowers the mountain you have to climb by $25. Watch what that does. If you can cut your yearly spending by $12,000, $1,000 a month, you did not just save $12,000. You lowered the finish line by $300,000. $300,000. That is a move you can make in 1 afternoon with a housing decision, and it is worth more than a decade of clipping small stuff. Put a real number on it. Say you sell the 4-bedroom the household long outgrew and move into something that fits the life you actually live now. The monthly cost drops by, say, $1,200. Once you count the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, and the heating of rooms nobody walks into. That is a little over $14,000 a year, gone permanently. Times 25, you just knock more than $350,000 off the mountain in a single decision. And that is before you count the equity the sale frees up, which can walk straight into the bridge from Move 2. Ray will spend the next decade trying to outsave a mountain that size. You just moved the mountain towards you. So this is where I would look hard. In your final 5 working years, is the house bigger than your life actually needs now that the household is shrinking? A downsize is not a defeat. It is the single most powerful lever a 55-year-old has, because it lowers your spending and it usually frees up trapped equity at the same time. And transportation. The endless cycle of financing a new vehicle every few years, a payment that never ends because it is designed to never end. Breaking that cycle in your final working years quietly removes another huge fixed cost from the number you have to hit. Ray keeps the big house because he has always had the big house. And he keeps trading cars because that is just what you do. And so Ray's finish line stays enormous, and he keeps sprinting at a wall that never gets closer. You move the wall. That is the difference. You cannot always save your way to the number fast enough, but you can move the number towards you. Move 4. Solve the health insurance cliff before you jump off it. This is the one that ambushes people, and it is the reason a lot of folks who could retire at 60 talk themselves into working until 65. They hit the wall of, wait, how do I get health insurance for 5 years with no employer? And the whole plan collapses in their head. So let me take the ambush away. Between 60 and 65 before Medicare, you buy your own coverage through the marketplace. And here's the lever almost nobody uses on purpose. The amount you pay is based on your taxable income for the year, not your net worth. So a person retiring at 60 who is smart about which accounts they draw from can show a modest taxable income even while living comfortably and qualify for large subsidies that cut the cost of that coverage dramatically. Read that again, because it is the whole trick. Your subsidy is based on the income you show, not the money you have. This is exactly why the bridge from Move 2 matters so much. If some of your spending comes from that taxable brokerage account where only the growth counts as income, or from cash, which counts as nothing, you can keep your reportable income low and let the marketplace cover a huge share of your premiums. The person who does not plan this pulls everything from a traditional IRA, shows a big income, and pays full price for the exact same coverage. Same person, same house, same life. One of them managed the number the system actually looks at. The other one did not know there was a number. Here is the size of what we are talking about. Two people, both retired at 60, both spending about the same to live. The one who pulls everything from a traditional account shows a high income on paper and can pay full freight, easily well over $1,000 a month for a couple. The one who draws from cash in a taxable account keeps the reportable income modest and can watch that same coverage drop by hundreds of dollars a month once the subsidy kicks in. Over the 5 years before Medicare, that single difference, the difference between planning your income and just spending your money, can be worth more than $50,000. Same life, one of them read the rules. Then at 65, Medicare arrives and the bridge is complete. You only ever had to cover 5 years, and you had a plan for every one of them. It was never a wall. It was a gap with a known width, and you built exactly enough bridge to cross it. Move 5, the part that has nothing to do with money. Because here is the truth I have watched play out again and again. The plan is not the hard part. The math I just gave you is not complicated. What stops people is what happens between their ears the moment they actually get close. Somewhere around the 4-year mark, when the pile is real and the date is in sight, a specific thing happens. The fear flips. For years, the fear was, I will never be able to do this. And then suddenly the fear becomes, what if I do it and it goes wrong? And that second fear is the one that keeps people chained to a desk for 5 extra years they did not need to work, guarding a number that was already enough. So move 5 is this. You decide your number and your rules before you get there, while you are calm, and then you follow them when you are not. You decide the order you will touch accounts. You decide the cash buffer that lets you ignore a scary year. You decide the modest income you will show. And when you hit 60 and every instinct in your body screams just one more year, just to be safe, you look at the plan you built with a clear head and you trust it more than the panic. Because the panic is not information. The panic is just the feeling of standing at the edge of the thing you spent 5 years building. And I want to name something because it is the quiet trap underneath all of this. The world does not push a 55-year-old toward this plan. It pushes you toward one more year of contributions, one more year of being safe, one more year of that comfortable paycheck. And one more year always sounds so reasonable that people say it to themselves 5 times in a row and call it prudence. But one more year, repeated, is just a slower version of Ray. The plan is what turns one more year into a decision instead of a default. Ray never had to fight that fear. Ray never got close enough for the fear to flip. He stayed comfortable the whole way, contributing his responsible 10%, keeping his big house, trading his cars, waiting for a finish line to appear. And it is now at 68, still logging in every morning, that the quiet cost of comfortable finally shows itself. Comfortable is not free. Comfortable is the most expensive thing Ray ever bought. He paid for it with 8 years of his one life. Let me stop here because if I do not, this turns into a lecture about sacrifice, and that is not what this is. I am not telling you to live like a monk for 5 years. I am telling you to run a focused, deliberate 5-year project with an actual end date, using doors the tax code left standing open, building a bridge across the years the system tries to wall off, and moving your finish line toward you instead of only sprinting toward it. That is it. That is the whole plan. And the reason it works at 55 specifically, the reason it is not too late, is that 55 is the exact age when all of these tools turn on at once. The bigger contribution limits, the rule of 55, the nearness of the marketplace, and Medicare math. You are not behind. You are standing on top of the most powerful 5-year setup in the entire retirement system. And almost nobody tells you that, because there is nothing to sell you in the truth. So let me be specific about what I would actually do this week, because a plan you do not start on is just entertainment. First, this week, find 3 numbers: your current savings rate across every account, the fees inside your 401k, which are hiding in a document you have never opened and are quietly costing you more than you think, and the total you have in accounts that are walled off until 59 and a half versus accounts you could touch freely. Just knowing those 3 numbers changes everything, because right now, you're almost certainly guessing. And you cannot build a bridge across a gap you have not measured. Second, this month, turn the shovel on. Raise your 401k to capture the full catch-up. Open and fund the IRA. If you have the right health plan, start the health savings account. Do not wait for the perfect version of this. A shovel that starts today beats a perfect plan that starts next year, because you are working with 5 years, and every month you wait is a plank you do not get to build. Third, this quarter, look hard at the 2 costs that actually matter. Run the real math on the house and on the vehicle cycle, not to punish yourself, to move your finish line. Remember, every $1,000 a year you remove permanently pulls that line $25,000 closer. That is the highest paid afternoon of work available to a person your age. And fourth, before you ever walk out, map the bridge. Which account covers which year, where the cash buffer sits, what income you will show for the marketplace. Write it down while you are calm, because the version of you standing at the edge at 60 will be grateful the version of you sitting here today did the thinking in advance. Now here's the deeper thing I want to leave you with, because it is bigger than any single move. There is a pattern behind all of this that planners have understood for decades, even if it never makes the evening news. The people who retire well are almost never the ones who earn the most. They are the ones who control 2 things: how much they moved into investments and in what order they touched it later. Everything else, the hot stock, the perfect market, the corner office salary, matters far less than those 2 boring levers almost nobody pulls on purpose. You do not need a great market to lift you. You need a plan a bad market cannot break. And every dollar you redirect in these 5 years is not really about the dollar. It is about time. The entire math of retiring early is the math of converting money you have now into years you get back later. When you build the pile and the bridge and you cross into 60 with a plan, you are not buying a bigger number. You are buying back the mornings. You are buying back the falls and the springs and the ordinary Tuesdays that Ray is still trading away 1 login at a time. You are buying the right to say no. No to the desk, no to the alarm, no to 1 more year you did not actually need. That is what this is. Not a spreadsheet, a trade. 5 focused years of doing what most 55-year-olds are never taught to do, in exchange for a decade of your 1 life back on the other side. So hold the whole plan in your head at once. 5 moves. Shovel hard for 5 years through the doors that only open after 50. Build the 3-plank bridge so you can actually reach your own money at 60. Move your finish line by killing the 2 costs that dwarf everything else. Manage the income number so the health insurance years cost a fraction of what Ray pays. And hold your nerve at the edge, because the plan you built with a clear head is smarter than the fear you feel at the cliff. That is the whole thing. Not magic, machinery. Ray and you started at the exact same place. Same age, same money, same salary, same tired Sunday nights. And one of you got 8 extra years of being free, not because you earned more, not because the market was kinder, but because you understood 3 problems in 5 moves early enough to actually run them. The only thing that ever separated those 2 people was what they knew, and when they knew it. Now you know. The only question left is whether you are going to use it to build the plan, or whether you are going to do what Ray did. Stay comfortable, wait for a finish line to appear on its own, and find yourself at 68 still running the same numbers, wondering where the window went. You have a 5-year window open right now. It will not stay open forever. But today, it is wide open and you are standing right in front of it. My name is Arthur. Subscribe if you want the next breakdown. I will see you there.